So this video is basically about when you're in the messaging part, making sales on Facebook Marketplace without the shipping option, when you're making sales via Messenger. So if you've done this for a little bit, you might have realized that it can be a bit time consuming. Sometimes it can feel like a waste of time, you know. You're speaking with people, you're telling them that nope, delivery only, you can't collect it, it's delivery only because we're dropshipping, and then they say, no, I don't want that, no, I don't want that. I only want to collect, I won't do delivery, I will not pay you first. It can be a bit time consuming, and especially if you're new to this, you're not really sure the strategy of selling on Marketplace in the Messenger. It can be like a bit disheartening. It's like, oh, I keep getting no after no and after no. It can be a bit disheartening, and it can, take up some time. All right, so the first way that you could save time in Messenger is just by making the description of your item just clearer, making it thorough, making it clear. So a lot of the time, people ask you questions about the item, and so in that sense, the more it says in the description of the item, the less questions you have to ask in general. So I always like to put the dimensions of the item at the top. If it's, I usually sell furniture, so like wardrobes, cupboards, that kind of thing, those were really good. People care about the dimensions because they need to fit it in their house. They maybe want to fit it in a certain part of the house. The dimensions are important. So I always put the dimensions right at the top. That's one of the questions that people will ask you the most if you haven't got the dimensions there. And even if you do have the dimensions there, people will still ask you the dimensions, in which case you're just going to say to them, they're in the listing. People, often don't read the listing. Kind of most, I don't know if most do, but so other things to include is like the material. If it's wood, is it real wood, or is it kind of like fake wood, whatever the word is, fake wood. But yeah, to sum this one up, the more you have in the description, and of course you want to make it easy to read with like spacing, that kind of thing. The more you have in the description, the more details, the less questions you're going to get, and you don't want to be spending your time answering these questions. You don't want to be having to, go to the supplier website to find out the answer. It's just long. It's a waste of time. Okay, and so the second thing you can do to basically save your time is to tell them that it's shipping only, it's delivering only. I like to put it in the description. Some people put it in the title. I don't really like to put it in the title because I find that having keywords about the item is generally a bit better. But so telling them right off the bat that it's delivery only, shipping only, basically, you're going to get less messages that then you have to reply to. You're going to get less messages that lead to nowhere, because a lot of these messages, when you tell them that's delivery only, they say, oh no, I want to only collect, I want to only pay in cash. So it kind of weeds out a few of these people, the people that are irrelevant, that are not a good match for you and your service with what you're offering. And be patient, because there's a lot of people that are actually happy with paying you up front, paying you by PayPal, and having it shipped to you. There's a lot of people that are happy with that. Most people don't want that, but there's a lot that are happy with that, and those are the guys we want. So we kind of want to weed off the people that, are not a good match for us, that are gonna waste our time in a sense. So really, you want to be getting more messages overall, but less irrelevant messages. And how do you get more messages overall? Well, you get more messages overall by having more items up overall. Not just that, but items that people actually want. You can have 1 million items up, but if they're not popular items that people don't want, then you're not going to get any sales. All right, and number 3, the third way, which is kind of my favorite way to save time, which is to copy and paste the responses. So every conversation on Messenger you're going to have is pretty much the same conversation over and over again. Pretty much exactly the same conversation, just maybe the details have changed a little bit because it's about different items, obviously. So you don't want to be typing up every single time, because that's just a waste of time, waste of energy. Creative energy, it takes energy and effort to create a great response. So you don't want to be wasting your time, wasting your energy on that. What I've got is on my, let's say I'm doing it on my phone, responding to messages on my phone. In my notes section, I literally have all the messages that I'm ever going to send. Maybe I'll edit them a tiny bit accordingly, but in general, copy and paste. So when someone says, is it still available? I literally send the exact same message every single time. This perfectly master crafted message to get them to want to buy and buy it now. But I've got all my messages in my notes section, so the ones where I say it's delivery only, pay by PayPal, I've got that. My PayPal link, I've got that in my notes. After they've paid, when I ask for their address, and I tell them the estimated shipping time, again, that's copy and paste. I've got that, I just copy paste, boom. I don't type it up every time because it's a waste of time. Okay, and the fourth one is you save time by listing hotter items. So there's some items that people message you about, and they'll be kind of like, I want this, but I don't want it. I want it only if it depends on this, and blah blah blah. And, you got to give me, can you reduce the price, that kind of thing. That's long. You want to be saying the hottest item, so people are like, yeah, I want it now, deliver it, no problem, I just want this item. You want to find the hottest items. These are available in the advanced product research strategy section of the course. And finally, the fifth way to save time is by nexting people. Next, if they're like, you tell them what you're offering, and then they say no, they don't want it. Okay, don't spend time convincing them. Just next, next, next. You know, you're better off spending your time elsewhere. You know, you can spend some time like trying to convince them, chatting to them a bit more. I was doing that when I just started this on Facebook last year. I was, you know, trying everything I could do. I found out that once they made up their mind, then their mind was made up. And you know, you can't convince them. If they're not interested, next, next. If they're not the right guy, next. If the product's not right for them, next. If the price isn't right, okay, next, cool. You know, your time is spent much better on, you know, dealing with messages with people who are actually interested or potentially interested until you find out, lead them through the funnel, lead them through the system, the message system where you tell them what you want, find out whether they are a match or not a match. Your time is better spent doing that. Your time is better spent listing more items, going through the trainings, that kind of thing, watching my videos, making notes, reflecting on what's worked for you and what hasn't, and doing more of what's worked, that kind of thing, just doing some reflection. That's a much better way to spend your time than chatting with time wasters, or we could say non-buyers, chatting with non-buyers. Okay, so I'll leave that video here. I hope that helped, and see you in the next video.